Hi, my name is Martyna and I am a Glasgow-based photographer. In this video, I would like to help you get more understanding on photography. Now, in my practice, I've noticed that there are three key elements to taking great images. The first one of them is light, and this is something that we'll cover in this video. The second one is composition, and I'll talk about that in my next video session on photography. But in short, composition is knowing what we're trying to photograph and seeing how it relates to the environment. And the third component to taking amazing photographs is your own style. And this is something that comes with practice. So the more photographs you take of a variety of subjects and in different environments and different light conditions, in different seasons perhaps even, will enable you to develop your own unique style, your own unique perspective on the world, and how you see colors and shapes and movement. So I just encourage you to practice. Now let's get back to the main subject of this video, which is the light. There are two main sources of light. There is the natural light, without which photography would probably not exist, and it is crucial to be able to observe different light conditions, and especially on a bright sunny day, to observe shadows that are being created by the light and the objects that are in our scene. The sun or the moonlight are fantastic sources of natural light, and we can definitely use them to create beautiful effects and to capture the essence of by utilizing as the atmosphere setters. The thing to do when we're photographing at nighttime is to make sure that we place our cameras on a sturdy surface. This way we'll avoid camera shakes and blurry images. But again, we must remember to focus on the subject that we're photographing, be it an object or a person that is closest to us, or if it's a landscape, cityscape, then we can place the focus onto the sky that we're trying to photograph to create silhouettes and outlines of the objects. Now the second source of lighting is artificial lights, and these come under many different forms. You'll probably be most familiar with a flash. Now if you're using your phone to take images or maybe a compact camera, you'll probably find that your flash is inbuilt into your device. Now depending on the make of your device, you'll need to enable the flash from the settings or the menu of your camera. You can also find that you might have an external flash that goes on top of your DSLR camera. Another prop and source of artificial lighting is a reflector. And if you don't have one, a reflector is basically a white surface. If you buy a reflector, this is going to be a material, but if you want to make a reflector, and basically you stick a piece of white paper onto a board. Now I'm using here the backing of an old frame, so you can easily make your own reflector from things that you've got available and lying around your home. You can also use tin foil, and that will give more effect that is similar to using a flash. The white surface will give you a very nice and soft reflection of the available natural light, and this is going to be a little bit more harsher, a little bit more metallic. So you can definitely play with these two surfaces, these two reflective surfaces, to see what kind of effects and what kind of light is going to be enhancing your subject that you're photographing.
So this is what usually happens on a nice and bright sunny day. What you'll find is the image will be quite imbalanced. The sun is just in front of me, so we're shooting against the light. You can see it peeking through the leaves. If I move a little bit more here, it's actually creating really nice glares, and this is something that you can play with if you like this effect. But if we want to make the subject matter that sits in front of us brighter, the first thing to do is simply focus on that very thing, and our cameras will adjust the brightness level to make the forefront more clear and brighter. If you're using a DSLR on auto mode, you can half press the shutter, and that will focus on to your subject matter. Now, if we really are persistent and want to photograph against the light, what you'll see is that the image is going to be washed out. There's not going to be any balance. Even if I try to focus on the subject matter, the camera just cannot do it. It's just too much light for it. What we can do is we can obviously change our position and try to take a picture like this. But if this is not a very pleasing composition, what we should do is just move to the point when something is going to obstruct that light and we will no longer be able to see it. Again, I focus on the building, and once I get out and away of the sunlight, I can have more or less a really nice, well-balanced picture. Sunset and sunrise are probably two most beautiful light conditions during which photographers like to take pictures, and it can be especially beautiful to take a portrait in these lighting conditions. However, again, we don't want to shoot against the light, or try. What we're trying to do is find a suitable angle so that we get even light. Right now you can see that there's a little bit of highlight on the side of my face and on my hair. So what I can do is I can move myself or move my subject, my camera, around the light to see where is the best angle for me to position myself towards the light. Now I think like my face is quite bright on this side and a little bit in the shadow on this side, so I keep moving. Now I can see that I've got a shadow here, and I can see the shadow, is being placed on my shirt if I move something in front of me. So I really want to avoid that nasal shadow. It's not really pretty. So again, I'm moving, and I think just about there is where I can see that the light is quite even on my face. So this is what you're trying to achieve when photographing in bright sunlight. You're trying to position yourself or your subject towards the light, but at an angle, so that they don't have to stare at the sun. This is quite hard. But they can be at an angle and look towards the camera and have even lighting on their face, or if you're photographing an object, so that the object is evenly lit and hasn't got any harsh shadows.
So I hope you've learned a little bit more about photography and especially light, and how to use different lighting conditions, how to read them and observe them and utilize to enhance your photography. Now, in my next video, I'm going to be talking about composition. So if this is something that you would like to learn more about, if this is something that you would like to improve on, please check it out. In the meantime, I encourage you strongly to take as many photographs as you can on your daily walks, or even if you're at home, and use different sources of light that you have got available. If you've made your reflector, use that. If you have got lamps available, maybe you can use that and take some creative portraits. Either way, I would really like to see the results of your photography, so please share them. Also, if you've got any questions or any subjects regarding photography that you would like me to cover, please let me know as well. And keep shooting. Thanks!